Hello everyone, it is the Canadian Futures Trader here, and I thought I would do a video just kind of break things up from the combines, kind of go through something that I do. If people find this useful, interesting, terrific. If you don't, then hey, you probably shouldn't be watching the video. Basically what I've done over the months, I kind of started basically trading, I want to say about a year ago. And I've read a lot of books, watched a lot of YouTube videos, go on a lot of the trading forums, and as I pick up different kind of things, I kind of add them to a list. Like that's something I want to think about, or just as I'm trading, I'm like, you know what, I really want to work on something, I add it to the list. So this list is kind of ever evolving, but what I call my pre-trading checklist. So ideally, I read through this list. It seriously takes like a minute to read this, but it really just kind of is a nice refresher before going into the trading day. So I thought I would share that with you. So we will go through it here. I'm going to try to keep this. I know I tend to be a little bit long-winded, so I'm going to try to get through it a little bit quick. So basically, the first thing I have here, the list is primarily down here, but at the very top of my note here is, so visualize a winning day and a winning month. So just before starting, and I actually honestly do this not so much like right before trading. I do it just other times of the day, maybe in bed, whatever. Just try to picture like what it's going to actually mean to kind of pass one of the the trading combines, etc. Two, I put meditate on here. I kind of got into meditation, kind of fell off. I like it. I don't want to say I love it. I'm not a meditating nut. I do think it's useful, but I'm not completely in the habit of meditating, I'll admit. C, read the list below. I think it's actually probably more beneficial to me personally. And then D, trades. So I wrote out three kind of mantras, if you will, just things, quick little bites. Discipline, focus, patience. Really, I mean, these three words actually mean a lot. There's a lot to each of those. I could probably do a full video on those, so I won't dig into them. But those three words are very important, and you'll hear that if you watch other trading videos, trading mindset, trading psychology, you'll hear that quite a bit. One Good Trade, that comes directly from, there's a book called One Good Trade. It's by Mike Belforet, co-founder SMB Capital. They are a prop firm as well. It's a good book. I recommend it. So, but really those three words hold a lot of weight as well. Just one good trade. Just every single trade, just make this one good trade. And then the next trade, do one good trade. Just build on it. And then my third point here, and this is more for me, is trade less, win more. One problem that I had to overcome, which I have, is classic over trading. I used to trade crude oil. There'd be days where I would have like 20 or 30 crude oil trades. And there was literally days where I traded so much that it was technically a profitable day in terms of trading, but I traded so much that the commissions ate it up and I actually lost money. So how defeating is that to make like say 30 trades, actually say you make whatever $300 in profit on all these little trades, but you paid so much in commissions that you're actually losing. So trade less, win more, and really that plays into a lot of the points here as well as terms of being very selective and very picky. And I feel like that's one lesson that I have learned. So some of the things on this list, and I'll call them out. I feel like I've worked on it. Actually, I have gotten a lot better, but there's a lot of things on this list, guys, that I still either struggle with or I slip on. Sometimes I'm good, sometimes I'm bad. So there's always room for improvement. So in terms of reading the list, so number one, do not self-sabotage, be in it for the long run. Really you need to think about this. Like I know personally, I tend to focus on like, okay, TopStep, it's, I've got 10 days till I pass, OneUp, 15 days till I pass. That is kind of a narrow focus. Like think about like a year from now, I still want to be trading. So do I really need to blow my entire, bankroll on this one trade when, I'm trying to be in this for the long run? So don't self-sabotage. Don't like just Hail Mary it and be like, you know what, like screw it, I'm going all or nothing on this one trade. Like that's the wrong mindset. And again, these are all very that's a problem I've dealt with. I feel like I've got that one pretty self-corrected now. But I definitely used to struggle with that. Especially if I was down. Say I had like 2 losing days and I'm down $2,000. I definitely would have the mindset of like, screw it, I'm just going to go for it on day 3, and I either like get myself square or I bust and I just reset. So try to speed this up here. And there is some repetition on this list. It probably could stand to be cleaned up. Before click enter trade, ask this, is it premium setup? If no, then don't click. So this is part of just being very selective with trades. Like really ask yourself, do I want to be in this trade? Picking better entries, more positive mood. So this is one that I need to work on more, and I haven't spent a lot of time working on. It is a statistics that I track in TraderView in terms of I earmark each trade as to when I got in it Did it go against me from the start? Did it go positive from the start? Or did it, and more importantly, did it go maybe against me a few ticks and then come back and be positive? If it did that, really, I could have got in at a better entry price. So I want to work on my entries a little bit more, have a little bit more crisp entries so that there's more trades that just go positive from the start. Next, be one step ahead of the move. Again, a problem I used to deal with, and I still do sometimes, is, the price of whatever, oil, the NQ, the bonds, just goes on a rip and moves, 5, 6, 10 ticks one direction. I used to always do the classic jump in, try to ride it, and sure enough, right where I jumped in is when the price turned around and came right back against me. So rather than be the person trying to jump on, the train right as it's coming to a stop, instead look at that and go, okay, it just made a huge rip in one direction. Let me wait till it runs out of steam, and then I will join it on the way the other direction, just as an example. Being right, so you're right or you're right out. This is basically, again, kind of having a plan for the trade. So if I get into a trade, it starts moving against me, get the hell out. Just don't eat big, huge losses. Now, again, some of this seems hypocritical. You've seen in some of my videos where I eat 15 tick loss. So I'm still learning this one sometimes. This next point kind of goes with that one. So 4 tick stop, that's it. If I hit it, pick better entries. So, when I do set a stop, I usually set about a 4 tick stop. This applies to bonds, I should say. It kind of depends on the product you're trading. But with bonds, I set a 4 tick stop. If the price moves against me 4 ticks and hits it, just, be out of the trade. Don't keep moving your stop and saying, oh, well, I'll eat 6 ticks, I'll eat 8 ticks. No, it needs to be, a 4 tick or better stop. Next one's a little bit touch-feely, I guess. Believe in yourself. You're a successful trader. You really do. You have to have a positive mindset of yes, I'm going to do this. I know I'm getting better. I'm putting in effort. I'm learning. I'm reading. I'm trading. I'm trying to learn from my mistakes. I'm trying to think about what I can do better. So there you go. This one's a bit goofy. Become a master of the trade. I think I heard this somewhere on a podcast or something. Become a master of the trade, a Jedi of trading. So, you think of a Jedi as an expert. They are a master of their craft. That's, the mindset of kind of being this great trader. Exercising patience and waiting for the AA hand. So you hear a lot of poker analogies when you go through different trading kind of mindset stuff. AA would be, so if you've ever played Texas Hold'em poker, you get dealt 2 cards. So premium, the best hand you could be dealt is pocket aces, 2 aces. So, and as someone who has played poker in the past, so the poker analogies kind of ring true with me. So exercise patience and wait for the ace hand. So I'm basically saying wait for premium hands, wait for trades, setups that are just great. They're just screaming, they're right in your face. They're look, the price is going to be moving this direction, you're able to jump in, it does exactly what you think you're going to do. Don't play trades where it's, to use the poker analogy, maybe you get a 2 and a 9. That's a crappy set of cards, and that would be a horrible trade, where you're just jumping in because you want action. You would never play a 2-9 in poker, but saying that, there are people who do it because they just want action, and that's exactly the analogy with trading. You just start jumping into trades because you want action. That's the wrong way to trade. Similar to that, another analogy, different kind of look at it. Be a sniper, wait for the great setups, and pick them off. Same idea. Just and a lot of this is just different ways of saying be patient. Wait for the trade to just stand out and say, okay, I know exactly what I need to do now. I'm going to get into this trade. I'm going long, I'm going short, I'm looking for 3 ticks, whatever it might be. Just being that sniper and picking off trades when they present themselves to you. Next one, don't lose all your money, stay in the game. Definitely applies to trading combines, and actually a perfect example. I'm recording this on December 29th. Just yesterday on my TopStep, I lost about 2,500. Now the daily stop is 3,000. So if I'd let it go, I would have busted my account if I let it go another $500. Now, did it suck losing $2,500? Absolutely. On that day, and I didn't listen to some of these rules I just talked about. But because I didn't lose all of my money or bust, it gave me the opportunity to try and redeem myself. And on the very next day, which happened to actually be today, I was able to make, I think it was about 1,800 of that back in pretty much one trade. So it just goes to show, as long as you're still in the game, you have a chance. But if you bust, you're out, you don't have an option. So don't lose all your money, don't bust your accounts, stay in the game, at least give yourself a chance to fight yourself out of a hole. Always start with one super strong trade. start off with a win. Now, I mean, you can't, of course, just make that happen, but it goes along with patience. Like, if anything, wait, and just try to get a great first trade. For me, there's something very psychological about being up at the start of the day. You have a bit of a buffer now. Like, so say my first trade, I make $300. Perfect. I know that even if I lost $300 in my next trade, I'm still even. Whereas the opposite, if you take a loss on your first trade, say you lose 300, now the mindset's very different. It's like, crap, I'm down 300. I need to make 300 just to get back to where I started. It's just a mental thing, at least for me. So I'd much rather just be patient and really try to get, I mean, of course you want all your trades to be profitable, but you extra effort on that first trade. So, less trades, more wins. I kind of mentioned that early on. I have focused on this. I feel like I've gotten a lot better at this. There's no longer days where I'm making 20, 30 trades. I mean, you've seen some of my videos. I have, one or two profitable trades. I call it quits. If I reach the goal for the day, or I just feel like I want to lock it in at that level, I'm done. Alright guys, so next we have a baseball analogy. Hit singles, not home runs, small step goals to build a winning record. I know what it's like to be on day one or day two, and say day one you make $200, the next day you make 300, and you're like, it's gonna take me an eternity to reach the goal at this level. The thing is not every day is the same. I mean, even today, like I had I think it was an $800 day on OneUp, and there's been days where it was a $100 day. So and that's all about just hitting those singles, getting those small wins. I'm still learning this in some regards. There's occasionally times where I'm in a trade, it's profitable, I decide I want 4 ticks, and it doesn't give me 4 ticks. I need to take 1 or 2 ticks. Like, you need to just take those singles, and not always be trying to hit the home run where you get 5 ticks, 10 ticks, because those don't happen nearly as often. Much like home runs, a lot of times the way you win games is by hitting single, and then you hit another single, hit another single, and it all starts to add up. Next, determine your stop loss for the day and stick to it, in all caps. Definitely one I still struggle with. I mean, again, I'm going back to some recent analogies. TopStep, 2 days ago, I lost 2,400. Why did I lose 2,400? I should have stopped after my very first losing trade, which was 1,500. And 2, I shouldn't have been losing 1,500 to start with. I should have had about a $500 stop loss for the day and said, you know what, if I get to 500, I'm out. So I still struggle with this. As much as you can say, okay, like, I'm not going to lose more than 500 today, it's very easy to get in, and your very first trade is a loser, and you go, crap, well, my next trade is a loser, and I'm already below my daily stop loss, but I've only made 2 trades, and I've been trading for, 10 minutes. Like, do I really want to stop? It's a tough one. Protect profits, live to trade the next session. This one I have gotten a bit better with. Once I'm up, I definitely I'm almost better at protecting the profit than I am at, stopping myself from losing more. So if I make, say 1,000, I will very much say, okay, like, I am not going below 700 in profit. Like, if my next trade is a loser, I'm out. That kind of mentality. So you never want a winning day to become a losing day. And I do have, again, this is one that I have learned. There was plenty of times in the past where I had a big winning day, or I was going to have a big winning day, but I just kept trading because I thought I was on fire, and I ended up just bombing. Like, I gave it a lot of it up, and then you feel pretty stupid when you were up, 1,000. Say I made 2,500, and then I have to close the day, in a loss because I just over traded, started trading on tilt, took a big loser, and it just becomes horrible. Alright guys, almost there. When in doubt, wait. Another patience. We've said patience about 4 different ways here. There's lots of opportunities. The markets are open. They're technically open 23 hours a day, but for the different combines evaluations, you can only basically trade 22 hours. For me, it's from 3 p.m. Pacific time till 1 p.m. Pacific time the next day. But that's still 22 hours of trading opportunities. There's lots of opportunities to make money, and some days the markets are just slow. There's just not a lot happening. You have to recognize that. So, but long story short, just be patient. Second last here, never let a winning trade become a loser. Well, that's not necessarily the same as that. I was going to say it's the same as protect your profits, but protect your profits is more, I'm thinking more they're closed trades. Like, you're up 1,000 and you're just out. You're not currently in a trade. Your next trade, you don't want to give up too much of the profit. Never let a winning trade become a loser. This is when you're actively in a trade. This is one I've learned to get a lot better at. So say I enter a trade, it moves up 3 ticks, but I've decided that I want 6 ticks. I used to just sit in it, and then several times, guess what? It didn't go up 3 more. Instead, it turned around, came back down, and actually went below my entry point, and I ended up having to just eat a loss. It feels pretty stupid when you were up 3 ticks, and now you're eating a 2-tick loss, for example. So I've gotten a lot better. Once I'm up 2-3 ticks, I set my stop loss at break even. Does it come down sometimes, hit my stop loss? Yes, but guess what? I got out at break even. There's no harm, no foul. But there's times where it does continue up, but I protected myself from it those times when it does shoot back down. So just my recommendation. You can play your trades how you like. And then very last here, guys, picture a winning day. Picture what beating the combines means long term. Again, this is more about thinking about the long term, not just that specific trade. So really think about, so before I set out, like I set my goals, for example, like you've seen on some of my videos, I'll say, you know what, okay, today my goal is to make $500. So I'm picturing that going into the day. I'm picturing as I enter trades, I'm like, okay, like, do I really need to risk trading, say, 12 contracts on OneUp, when if my goal is to make 500, well, I don't need to be playing with 12 contracts. I can make 500 pretty easily with 3 contracts. So and I say pretty easily, but if things go my way, that's 5 ticks. It's not really that difficult. So I don't need to be taking on so much risk if I don't have to. So that's it, guys. I just thought I would share this. This helps me. I want to clean this up a little bit, honestly, and just kind of cut out some of the repetition, etc. But yeah, so I try to read this every day before trading. It helps, honestly, because it just puts it all fresh in your mind. So then when I go to, I fire up, Jigsaw Day Trader, and it's 3:01 p.m. and I'm like, okay, I want to get into a trade. Well, maybe I have a flashback. I said, oh, you know what? I talked about being patient. Maybe I should wait, like let the market play out a little bit, and let me see what happens here. And you know what? Quite honestly, I'm not really seeing anything yet. So let me see how the market goes and wait for those trades that kind of present themselves to me. So it does. If you read the same thing over and over every single day, it actually starts to stick in your head, and you do have those kind of flashback moments when you're trading to this list, or me personally. So hopefully that helps somebody. It's a little bit, I guess, trading psychology, mental game of trading, etc. Really, for me, that has been much more the bigger hurdle than the technical aspects of trading. I'm pretty happy. Always room for improvement, but I'm pretty happy with my game plan in terms of the actual technical aspect of trading. It's more of this mental stuff that really hangs me up. And from my journeys online, looking at forums, etc., it really seems to be a hang up for a lot of other traders as well, where they just, they do all the stuff that I've done in the past. They overtrade, they get a loser, and then they start revenge trading, all that stuff. So I'm going to end it there, guys. Hope you found this useful, and I will see you in the next